What's going on, everybody? Q-Tip here, and today we're going to be showing you how to get two of the best items that we can get in the game for any escape attempt. And of course, we're talking about both the hammer and the wrench. For this, we are going to need to start the main quest up until the visitation, only so we can get the quest from Bruce for the good conduct points. And we're also going to need to have the lockpicks and a soda. Now, the lockpicks can be crafted either on the first day or the second day by obtaining two nails as well as two paper clips. This can be gotten off of any inmate. You can check them for whatever items that they have before you start to befriend them and things like that. If this is not your first play, well, if this is your first playthrough, if this isn't, you won't have to befriend them in order to, start looking for those items. You might already have the ability to steal from them, but you're going to need 100 agility points in order to kind of gain that skill. But we are going to need to get access to the roof, which is why we're going to need to get the main story completed up until the visitation. You can go ahead and talk to the gang bosses here in the beginning to get a little extra cash going. You can't really do Alex's quest until a little bit later in the day, in the afternoon. However, you can go ahead and do Caesar's if you want, but I advise to do that a little bit later in the day, so that way you can have a little bit extra money just in case if something happens and you end up losing your money. But we are going to need to, at least start working in the laundry room. And speaking of the laundry room, that is where we're going to find the wrench. You are going to need a lockpick for this section, so that's the reason why I said you can get this done either the first or the second day, just depending on luck of the draw if you have the materials to craft that lockpick. To find the wrench, it's going to be in the detergent room. So when you first load up into the laundry room, it's going to go to that top left corner, and you're going to interact with that first cabinet in the back. It's going to prompt up a little bit of dialogue, and it's going to ask for you to unlock it. Once you do, it's going to show you that there's no wrench in there. It is going to have some durability loss, but if you befriend Sam and get your relationship up with him all the way, he does have a skill that allows for you to repair your tools, because you are going to need to repair both tools to get them where they need to be at, back up to 100%. And for the second one, we can go ahead and get this started up in the yard time section. Now, the reason why we need a little bit extra money, if you haven't already done this, we're going to run into Crunchy the crocodile. He's going to be asking for half of our money, but we don't have to give it to him. You can either fight him or you can persuade him to leave you alone. If you do want his skill or to him to not bother you a little bit later on, I do advise for you to go ahead and fight him, because this is the easiest time to do so, because you only have to get him down to half health. I didn't do so for the sake of finding these items for you guys, and just kind of giving you a little bit of tips on what we need to do to kind of get the ball rolling on those. While out here, if you didn't, beat him, or if you just decided to give him half of your money, you can go ahead and pick 3 irises in the yard and go to the barber to take that quest on and turn it in real quick for a little bit of extra money if you need that to get into the library. Because once we're in the library, we are going to need to go to the second room and to that middle bookshelf in the 3 columns. There's a book on the shelf called The Great Escape. We need to go ahead and read that book, so that way we have that quest ready to go for Bruce once we have access to his quest linings for the good conduct points. I did at this time talk to Caesar about the ledger, so that way I didn't have to go through the whole thing of going through his locker and all that. But if you need a little bit extra money then as well, you have an extra lockpick on hand, you can go ahead and do that instead, as well as if you want to do the canonically good ending, if you want to call it, as well as you can go ahead and complete any other task that the barber has, but leave a little bit of time before the dinner time hits, which is 17:30 or 5:30, and you're going to go back down to the vending machine to go and get you one, if not both, of the sodas. The soda is going to give you a +1 to your agility stat. It doesn't stack on itself, but it does stack with items like the cigarette. Once you have that all done, and we have that first task taken care of. If you don't have the 30 good conduct points, Bruce does have another task for you called Dangerous Friends, I do believe. You do have to speak to certain inmates and befriend them. So if you want, you can befriend them in the afternoon of the first day by just going around and talking to all the inmates that you can see and getting that taken care of as well. So that way, as soon as the second day hit and your visitation is done with Reed, you can go ahead and re-talk to Bruce and he'll give you access to those missions for him. And you can go ahead and turn everything that you need in as you take the quest on. But once you have those 30 points, you can go ahead and apply for the rooftop position, which is where we're going to find our second and final item, which is the hammer, as well as a couple of other goodies if you haven't noticed these yet as well. But once you get up to the roof, you're going to have a little cutscene. It's going to be a little dialogue. It's not going to matter on what all you choose for the dialogue options because it's not anything too enticed to the story of the game. It's just give you a little bit of extra something to do. But once you're done, we're going to go into that second building. Now, if you have the soda on hand, go ahead and drink it. And you're going to have to do a agility check to get past the guard. If you aren't playing on the highest difficulty, and I am going to let you know these achievements are not difficulty locked, so I advise playing on the lower difficulties if you aren't already, but use your memory recall to your advantage because you can use that to kind of give yourself some extra chances in completing some of those tasks by pausing the game and saving. So that way, if you mess up, you can just go back to that specific moment rather than restarting the entire section of that day. But once you have all that taken care of and you're in that little room, there's going to be a second side room with a table. That's where we're going to be able to find the hammer. And for a little bonus, if you close that door, you're going to have the janitor's jacket and some boots on the ground. The janitor's jacket is going to have $20, a cigarette, and some matches. And on the ground, I do advise for you, if you have the space, pick up the boots and put them on. You're going to find a key, and that key is going to be to the outside door in the piping area for the cell block. Once you get out, you dismantle the toilet. And that's how you're going to be able to find both of those items. I hope this right here was extremely helpful for you guys and made a lot of sense. But with that being said, good luck on your adventures in this game and your escape attempts. And if you want me to go over any more helpful tips or anything like that for the game, make sure leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.